Now, that has finished, if I can make sure the microphone's working, that has finished West Ham 2, Aston Villa 1. And I'm pleased with 1, obviously, for obvious West Ham reasons. But I'm also pleased that we've won because I can actually say this without it sounding like sour grapes, that we've lost, because that was the worst play acting, cheating team I have ever seen at this stadium. I've got to say, it's not just this stadium, it's away as well. I've seen worse on the telly, but I think live, in terms of time wasting and play acting, that is the worst I have ever seen. Look, we're going to get on to in a minute quite how joyous it was to see Yarmolenko score that goal. How apt was that? It ain't been a great day for West Ham. Cresswell's gone down, Antonio's gone down. As at the point of recording this, we don't know how bad that is going to be. But in terms of time wasting, it was as bad as I have seen in a live football match. John, that was awful, wasn't it, from what we saw from them?
Yeah. What, the first half, 7 or 8 times they've gone down, play acting. Danny Ings went down 1 time near the end of the first half. I think it's the first half. The ref has already got used to it, and you can see he looked up, realised he wasn't going to get anything, and just got on with it. But as I said, that was after what, 7 or 8 times.
It really was that many. I mean, it sounds sort of sensationalistic, and I think in the end it was sort of, I don't want to spend too much time talking about Aston Villa in this one, even though we played them. It was detrimental to them because they spent so much of that game trying to kill time. It came to the point when they had to switch it up and they couldn't time waste anymore. They had to go and chase the game, and I thought they had already set the tone that their momentum was about killing time. I thought it was really hard for them to then attack, right?
Yeah, it seemed like they came here with incentive to think, right, West Ham have played more games, they are going to be at us for the first 20 minutes, let's try and kill their attack, get them all out, and then attack them in the second half. Obviously that didn't work for them.
No, because it was 0-0 at half time, and I think it was fair to. I thought defensively we were magnificent today, absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's always hard when you're watching it in a stadium, and hopefully I can incorporate a clip or two so you can see the sort of view that we had, which is very distant, but an excellent in terms of being able to see all the game, but you're not always able to tell who's who. Because obviously you're distant, you're far away from the match. But defensively, I thought it was an outstanding performance. We were right in it as of half time, so obviously it was 0-0. Without really, I felt, massively threatening their goal. Would you say that? Would you think that's fair, John?
Yeah, I'd say it's fair. I thought Johnson was good, particularly first half at right back. I thought we tried creating a few chances. We had one early on, I can't remember who it is now.
Well, but Ben Rama was creating early on, and to be fair, he was to go on and get 2 assists today, so let's give him an awful lot of credit today, by the way, particularly in the absence of Bowen. But I felt we weren't really troubling them in the box massively.
No, we were trying. Going forward, we looked like we were trying to put an effort in, but yeah, we didn't put too much into the box to necessarily cause an issue. But at the same point, as you said, we were strong at the back. They didn't really create anything coming towards us.
No, they didn't, and we've heard an awful lot about Coutinho, and rightly so. But I tried to make this point in whatever the video yesterday. We've faced better players than Coutinho very, very recently. He got hooked. They had to hook him off. I felt, would you say, I thought he was completely ineffective in the game, right?
He didn't go off, it was Danny Ings.
I thought he took Coutinho off. I really did. I thought Ings came off for Wendy. I thought Coutinho came off. I really did.
He might have come off later on.
I thought he was. I thought anyway, this is what I'm saying. It's quite hard, particularly when there's a lot of noise in the stadium, and there was, and the stadium announcer was there.
We kept him quiet. We kept Coutinho quiet, which was the main threat.
We really did. And again, you sort of hear an awful lot more of the much heralded duo of Ings and Watkins, who are good players. I thought Watkins, particularly when he pulled wide, was dangerous, John, right?
Yeah, second half, yeah. It almost felt like that second half they were going to cause us more issues. But then their game, I don't know if their plan changed, but it did feel like we were going to be back against it the second half.
Yeah.
And then somehow we just got a goal at a crucial point, I think. And then, obviously at that point, they couldn't time waste. and they had to change the game plan, and it was too late for them.
Well, that was it. The game had to change. The game absolutely had to change at that point because they had spent so much time killing the game. I can't remember how much it was at the end of the first half, but certainly at the end of 4 minutes first half, and at the second half, 6 minutes, by the way. Now, granted, some of that was us, but, I mean, ours was genuinely injured. Don't get me wrong, Dina went off early in that match, and they will claim that was a big part, I think, of their lethargy, maybe, in their play. But obviously, Antonio went off.
That was worrying how quickly Moyes and Nolan both signalled across the Yarmolenko.
Well, you noticed that when we sat together. So you noticed that.
So as soon as Antonio hit the deck, they both signalled across the Yarmolenko to call him down.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether at half time he had a bit of a niggle or something, or there was a game plan to give him 5-10 minutes.
I mean, that is a worry. Yeah, we lost. Look, if you ask me before this game, before any game, who are our most important players, Antonio and Cresswell will certainly be amongst them. If you asked us to name, 4 or 5 of our most important players, those two would be in there. And Bowen, obviously. Yeah, there we were today. No Bowen. Antonio's gone. Cresswell's gone. He made the switch. He puts Johnson onto the left, Fredericks onto the right. Yet still, this sort of machine that we've created, this David Moyes machine, where it almost doesn't matter who the component parts on. They sort of churn out. I was looking at it, I think there's no pace in that front line. There's agreed, right? There was no pace in it.
Yeah.
Yet still, so Yarmolenko scores a goal.
Good credit to Yarmolenko's goal. I can't remember whether he was turned on his left foot and here it was right foot. But the way he turned it in, put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, he definitely switched feet. The ball came in, we think it was from Ben Rama. He switched feet. He took it early, I think. I'll have to see it again. Obviously, you get to see a little. You don't see too much on the screen because you're celebrating at the time. But it seemed like he switched feet and he caught the goalkeeper early, and that's a good goalkeeper as well, by the way. That Aston Villa have got really, really good goalkeeper. So that was great. Cresswell went off, as I say. There was the switch then. We got a second goal on the break. Someone who scored it who not played particularly well, John.
Fornells. A couple of times in the first half, Fornells giving the ball away. It was almost like Fornells had been playing really, really well until Thursday against Seville.
Yeah.
He didn't have one of his best games. I'm not criticising Fornells at all. He didn't have one of his best games. It almost felt like he just carried on from Thursday. There's a few times in the first half he'd given away the ball quite cheaply, quite easily early on. But then his finish was a good finish for the goal.
It was.
A break. And actually, to be fair, it was probably Villa were trying to attack us more, and we just hit them on the break and made it 2-0.
Created by Ben Rama again. So I mean, all in all, I mean a really, really good day. Today was an important day. What were the other results? You said Wolves won.
Wolves beat Everton. Watford beat Southampton, and Chelsea won today.
I'll tell you what, that is a really, really good. Now you're going to start to see, it's like at the start of the season where 3 points, you don't get much disparity in the league. Now you're going to see gaps open up in the league. Really, really good result for us today.
If we'd lost today to Villa, they would be, I think, 5 or 6 points behind us with a game in hand.
Yeah, but now there's daylight between. Yeah, but what is it? 9 points, 9 games to go now. Is that right? 9 games.
They've got a game in hand.
Yeah, but nonetheless, it's difficult for anyone, and we're not in a form. And I said this before. We're not really in a position where we're conceding loads and loads of goals. We really don't. We don't. I know at some point I'm going to be wrong about this, and we're going to take a Tonkin, and I keep saying it. We don't seem to concede loads of goals, which means we're always in games. I don't know what. This is just a review of the Villa game. But I don't particularly want to talk about how the injuries might impact the Sevilla. But in terms of momentum, in terms of the feel-good factor around the club, this is a really, really good. I feel a really good performance. West Ham. Did you have a man in the match, John?
I was going to say Ben Rama, just for he looked more buzzy today. He looked like he was trying to create things, and obviously he got the assist for both the goals.
He did. He really did. Yeah. And I thought he started. Point say Ben Rama started really brightly. At the start, he was our brightest player. Disappeared for a bit in the middle, but I think by and large, a lot of our team did. I thought Declan played really well today. Another level layer on top of that for Declan. ahead of Sphere. That's going to be good. Suchek played really well today. Zuma was outstanding, by the way, outstanding. Repelled anything that sort of came his way. I've not been able to analyse their goal. It may well be that someone made a mistake with their goal. Not entirely sure. I can't remember what happened. It's just
even Yarmolenko, before he got the goal, he looked like he was more interested today. He was trying to get involved.
Yeah,
compared to the previous games where he's looked disinterested or hasn't put the effort in.
Yeah.
He did look like it was slightly different Yarmolenko today.
And how apt is that, by the way, with the Yarmolenko one? You know, that's the sort of script you can't write, really. But if you were a Hollywood script writer, you would have written that one, wouldn't you? Because, as I understand it, last week Yarmolenko's family were in Ukraine. They were in a city that was coming under a bit of an attack, and one of his children and his wife had to basically, as I understand it, travel to the border in Poland to get away from the conflict. Yarmolenko travelled over last week to basically, I don't use the word lightly, to rescue his wife and his child. He then comes back to this country with his family, and then scores that pivotal goal. I mean, that's it. That's the story of the day. The stadium announcer made him man in the match. I understand why, for sentimental reasons. Absolutely right. Really good call. Amazing day, really. Amazing day. I'm really chuffed with that. A massive shout out, by the way, to ETC Sports, who are sponsoring this channel for another year. We thank them very, very much. Literally wouldn't be here today without them. We're in corporate. I'm trying to keep the camera angled up because I don't want to invade people's privacy who are sitting around on the tables around us. Anyway, a jolly good day all round. John's joined us. He's on the water. I'm on the Moretti because I'm not as sensible as him. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with our player ratings video. We'll catch up with you then. Cheers, John.
Cheers.